Arch Deluxe, 1996. This was supposed to be McDonald's grown-up burger. The Arch Deluxe featured a quarter-pound patty, potato bun, peppered bacon, and a signature mustard mayo sauce. It was part of a major push to attract adults, with the company pouring over $100 million into one of the most expensive marketing campaigns in fast food history. But the pitch never connected. Customers didn't understand who it was for. Kids didn't want it. Adults didn't trust it. And the premium pricing felt out of place at McDonald's. Despite the nationwide rollout, sales stalled almost immediately. The Arch Deluxe quietly vanished from menus and left behind one of the biggest flops the brand ever produced. McDLT, 1984. This was McDonald's attempt at innovation through packaging. The McDLT came in a two-compartment styrofoam container. One side held the lettuce, tomato, cheese, and bun, kept cold. The other side held the patty and bottom bun, kept hot. The slogan was simple: keep the hot side hot and the cool side cool. But customers didn't love doing the assembly themselves. The packaging was bulky and environmentally unfriendly, especially as public concern over styrofoam waste grew. By the early 90s, McDonald's had phased out foam containers entirely, and the McDLT went with them. McPizza, late 1980s to 1990s. McDonald's wanted in on the pizza wars, and for a while, it looked like they were serious. The McPizza was introduced in test markets in the late 80s and slowly expanded into the 90s. It came in personal and family sizes and was baked in-store using special ovens. The goal was to compete with Domino's and Pizza Hut while giving families another reason to visit. But the logistics didn't work. The cook time was too long. Drive-through orders stalled. Equipment took up too much space in the kitchen, and most customers weren't coming to McDonald's for a 10-minute pizza. By the end of the 90s, it was gone from nearly every location. By the way, I'm going to be posting a lot here, so it would mean a lot if you subscribed and dropped a like for the algorithm. Mighty Wings, 2013. On paper, this looked like a guaranteed hit. In 2013, McDonald's launched Mighty Wings, crispy, bone-in chicken wings, seasoned with cayenne and black pepper. They were juicy, flavorful, and tested well with focus groups. The plan was to compete with fast casual chains and offer something meatier than McNuggets, but customers weren't buying. They were too expensive, too spicy for McDonald's regulars, and not convenient enough to eat on the go. Inventory piled up, and within months, the company was sitting on 10 million pounds of unsold wings. McSpaghetti, late 1970s to 1980s. Yes, this actually happened. In the late 1970s, McDonald's introduced a line of pasta dishes that included McSpaghetti, lasagna, and fettuccine alfredo in select US locations. The idea was to create a full dinner menu, something that could compete with traditional family restaurants. But the execution didn't land. The spaghetti took too long to prepare, didn't travel well, and didn't taste like anything customers couldn't make at home. Most people just weren't interested in ordering pasta from the same place they got their cheeseburgers. Onion nuggets, late 1970s. Before Chicken McNuggets, there were onion nuggets. McDonald's introduced them in the late 1970s as a new kind of side item. Chopped onions, battered and deep fried into crispy golden cubes. They were meant to be a savory, shareable alternative to fries, but they didn't catch on. Customers weren't sold on the texture, and they lacked the broad appeal of something like onion rings. They vanished quietly not long after launch. But behind the scenes, the concept helped shape the format for a new item in development: Chicken McNuggets. McHot Dog, 1990s to 2000s. Hot dogs at McDonald's always felt like a strange fit, and that's because they were. The McHot Dog was introduced at select locations throughout the 1990s and 2000s, mostly as a regional or seasonal item. It was simple: a regular hot dog on a bun with the option for ketchup, mustard, and relish. But it never reached national rollout. Part of that was taste. Customers didn't associate McDonald's with hot dogs, and the item didn't stand out. But there was also internal resistance. Ray Kroc, the company's founder, had famously opposed serving hot dogs altogether, citing concerns about food safety and ingredient quality. Despite repeated tests, the McHot Dog never stuck. McSalad Shakers, 2000. In 2000, McDonald's tried to make salads portable. McSalad Shakers were served in clear, tall plastic cups, designed so customers could pour in dressing, shake it up, and eat straight from the container. They came in 3 varieties: Chef, Grilled Chicken Caesar, and Garden. At first, the idea felt fresh. It targeted health-conscious customers and looked different from the usual burger and fries routine. But the format didn't work. The tall cups were awkward to eat from, the ingredients often settled unevenly, and the shaking didn't mix the dressing as well as advertised. Within a few years, the product was pulled and replaced by more traditional salad bowls. Hula Burger, 1963. The Hula Burger was McDonald's original meatless option and one of its earliest flops. In 1963, founder Ray Kroc introduced it as a Friday alternative for Catholic customers who abstained from meat. It featured a slice of grilled pineapple, a slice of cheese, and a bun. That was it. It never stood a chance. Customers overwhelmingly preferred another new item that had been proposed by a McDonald's franchisee: the Filet-O-Fish. While the Hula Burger felt like a gimmick, the Filet-O-Fish was hot, filling, and familiar. Big and Tasty. 1997. The Big and Tasty was McDonald's answer to the Whopper, a larger, flame-grilled style burger topped with lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, ketchup, and mayonnaise. Launched in 1997, it was designed to compete directly with Burger King's signature sandwich. It even mimicked the same build and packaging. But while the Whopper had history, the Big and Tasty never found a strong identity. It struggled with inconsistent flavor and presentation, and marketing was minimal. By the 2010s, it was phased out entirely in most markets. Cheddar Melt, 1988. The Cheddar Melt was a bold attempt to upgrade the Quarter Pounder. It featured a beef patty topped with grilled onions and warm cheddar cheese sauce, all served on a rye bun. It was savory, rich, and unlike anything else on the menu at the time. But the sandwich was messy. The cheese sauce had a divisive texture, and the rye bun didn't appeal to the average customer. It was launched in 1988 as a limited time item and brought back a few times in the early 2000s, but it never stuck. McLean Deluxe, 1991. This was McDonald's attempt to go healthy, and it didn't go well. The McLean Deluxe was marketed as a 91% fat-free burger. It used a lean beef patty bound together with carrageenan, a seaweed extract, to help retain moisture. Nutritionally, it was ahead of its time. Taste-wise, it fell flat. Customers weren't ready for a health-focused McDonald's sandwich that didn't deliver on flavor. The patty was dry, the texture was off, and it simply couldn't compete with the juicier burgers it sat next to on the menu. McDonald's quietly pulled it after a few years. McStuffins, 1993. The McStuffins were McDonald's version of a handheld Hot Pocket. Launched in 1993, they were baked, not fried, and came in varieties like pepperoni pizza, teriyaki chicken, and barbecue beef. The goal was to offer something warm, savory, and portable, a break from the typical burger lineup. But they never caught on. The name confused customers. The flavors were inconsistent, and the texture, doughy on the outside, mushy on the inside, didn't win anyone over. Most people didn't know how to feel about them, and even fewer came back for a second try. Within a year, the McStuffins were pulled from menus entirely. Angus Third Pounder, 2009. In 2009, McDonald's launched the Angus Third Pounder to compete with premium burger chains. It featured a thicker 1/3 pound beef patty made with 100% Angus beef, stacked with upscale toppings like sautéed mushrooms, bacon, and Swiss cheese. It was positioned as a higher quality alternative to the standard McDonald's fare and priced accordingly. But it never gained traction. The burger was more expensive than customers expected, slower to prepare, and didn't offer enough of a flavor upgrade to justify the difference. Sales lagged, and by 2013, McDonald's discontinued the entire Angus line. Fish McBites, 2013. In 2013, McDonald's tried to remix the Filet-O-Fish into bite-sized form. Fish McBites were small, breaded chunks of Alaskan pollock, sold in snack boxes and aimed at Lent season customers looking for a meatless option. They were easy to dip, easy to share, and launched with a full marketing push. But they didn't stick. Customers found them bland, the breading didn't hold up well, and the fishy smell turned some people off. Unlike Chicken McNuggets, they didn't become a craveable staple. After just one season, McDonald's pulled them from the menu. McAfrica, 2002, Norway. This was one of McDonald's most tone-deaf launches. In 2002, McDonald's Norway introduced the McAfrica, a limited-time pita sandwich filled with spiced beef and vegetables. It was meant to celebrate African flavors as part of a themed promotion tied to global cuisine. But the timing was a disaster. The sandwich debuted while several African countries were experiencing severe famine. Critics and media outlets quickly pointed out the irony of naming a fast food item after a continent facing widespread hunger. The backlash was immediate. McDonald's issued a public apology and pulled the item soon after. McLobster, Canada, and Northeast US. The McLobster was McDonald's take on the classic lobster roll, and it never really found its footing. It featured chilled lobster meat mixed with mayonnaise and seasoning, served in a hot dog-style bun. It was introduced in Canada and select parts of the northeastern US as a seasonal summer item, usually around coastal areas. But it had problems from the start. The price point was high, the portion sizes were inconsistent, and customers questioned the quality of fast food lobster. In some regions, it became a running joke, more curiosity than craving. While it still pops up occasionally in limited markets, it's never gone national or built any real momentum. Bubblegum McFlurry. Early 2000s, Australia. This was McDonald's attempt to win over kids with pure sugar and nostalgia. The Bubblegum McFlurry was launched in Australia in the early 2000s. It featured soft-serve vanilla ice cream, swirled with bright pink bubblegum-flavored candy pieces. It looked fun, tasted sweet, and felt like it came straight out of a Saturday morning cartoon. But it didn't go over well. The flavor was overwhelmingly artificial. The candy bits got stuck in your teeth, and parents weren't thrilled about the color, the sugar content, or the stickiness that came with every bite. It quietly disappeared from menus and hasn't returned since. Nutella Burger, Italy, 2016. McDonald's Italy tried to go viral, and they did, but not in the way they hoped. In 2016, they launched the Nutella Burger, a soft, warm bun filled with nothing but a thick layer of Nutella. No meat, no cheese, just chocolate hazelnut, spread on bread. It was positioned as a dessert item and packaged like a real sandwich. Social media jumped on it immediately. Some people were curious, most were confused. Reviews were mixed. Fans of Nutella appreciated the simplicity, but many found it underwhelming, messy, and not worth the hype. It generated buzz, but not sales. McCurry Pan, India, early 2000s. The McCurry Pan was one of McDonald's most ambitious international experiments. Launched in India in the early 2000s, it was a baked rectangular bread bowl filled with creamy curried vegetables or chicken, topped with cheese and served hot. It looked more like a frozen entree than fast food. The idea was to localize the menu with Indian flavors in a format that still felt unique, but it was too far off brand. It took longer to prepare, didn't travel well, and was hard to eat on the go. Customers were intrigued at first, but rarely ordered it twice. The flavor wasn't the problem, it was the format. McDonald's just wasn't built for utensils and baked casserole bowls. McRice Burger, Philippines, Asia, 2000s. The McRice Burger was designed for markets where rice is the staple, not bread. Instead of a bun, it used 2 compressed rice cakes to sandwich grilled beef or chicken, often with local-style sauces. It launched in countries like the Philippines, Singapore, and Taiwan in the early 2000s. The idea was simple: meet customers where they are, culturally and culinarily. But it never became a hit. The rice patties fell apart easily, the texture was inconsistent, and most customers still preferred the familiar burger format. It was a bold localization move, but the execution didn't hold up. McPork, Japan. The McPork was McDonald's attempt to offer an affordable everyday sandwich tailored to Japanese taste. It featured a ground pork patty topped with lettuce, onions, and a tangy black pepper sauce, all on a steamed bun. Priced lower than other burgers on the menu, it was marketed as a simple, budget-friendly option, but it never gained much traction. The flavor was polarizing, the patty lacked texture, and customers often compared it unfavorably to other pork-based options already popular in Japan. It was introduced, removed, reintroduced, and eventually pulled for good. McBaguette, France, 2012. In 2012, McDonald's France tried to go local. Really local. The McBaguette featured 2 hamburger patties, Emmental cheese, lettuce, and grainy mustard sauce, all served on a freshly baked French baguette. It was part of a push to connect with French culinary identity while still keeping the core McDonald's structure intact. The concept sounded smart, but the reception was mixed. The baguette was authentic, but it didn't always hold up under fast food conditions. It was harder to eat, chewier than a regular bun, and the flavor balance never fully clicked. Some customers appreciated the effort. Others just stuck with a Big Mac. Teriyaki McBurger, Japan. The Teriyaki McBurger is one of McDonald's most recognizable Japan-exclusive items, and also one of its most inconsistent. Introduced decades ago, it featured a pork patty glazed in teriyaki sauce, topped with lettuce and mayonnaise on a soft bun. It was designed to reflect local flavor preferences, and for a while, it worked. But the product never stabilized. The sauce was overly sticky, the patty sometimes greasy, and reviews fluctuated depending on the location and season. Corn Dog McNuggets, U.S. test markets, 1991. In 1991, McDonald's tested one of its most unusual spin-offs, Corn Dog McNuggets. They were exactly what they sounded like. Mini hot dogs dipped in cornmeal batter, shaped like nuggets, and deep fried. The idea was to create a fun, snackable side item that blended two American favorites in one bite. But they didn't land. The flavor was underwhelming, the texture was inconsistent, and customers weren't sure how to feel about hot dogs in nugget form. It also clashed with McDonald's broader brand identity at the time, which was trying to lean more upscale with products like the McLean Deluxe. Corn Dog McNuggets never made it out of the testing phase. If you enjoyed this, I'm going to be posting a lot here, so it would mean a lot if you subscribed. Thanks for watching.